Welcome to Chapter 2 in the ERD Fundamentals course. Here we will be looking at how ERDs are used to define the data in our application. Before we begin, you will need to download 3 files from our Learning Centre: companies, employees, and ISO country codes. An ERD is an entity relationship diagram. It has 2 main uses in FixFlow. First, to define the tables and their relationships which are used by our application, and secondly, to allow us to use these tables and relationships to create views that combine the data from the different tables. And we'll see more on this in the screen building chapter. Here I have an ERD, and in this example we have companies, employees, and ISO country codes. As you can see from this ERD, each table has a set of attributes and their associated types. Attributes are the equivalent of a column header that you'd see in, say, a spreadsheet. Every table should have an attribute that is a unique identifier for each record it contains. We refer to this as the primary key. FixFlow will automatically create this for you when a new table is created, or for imported data, we can right-click on the attribute and select Make Primary Key. Relationships are created when a primary key from one table is linked to an attribute on another table. Doing this makes the connected record a foreign key, indicated by the icon. Both attributes must contain the same type of data for them to be compatible. Should you want to view the data in a table, click the View icon and a table will appear showing you the data. In our example, we have companies, employees, and ISO country codes. Each company has many employees, and each ISO country code belongs to many different companies. The relationship arrows depict this, with the arrowhead showing the many side and the start of the arrow showing the single side. We refer to this as a one-to-many relationship. Let's walk through the steps to create this ERD. First, we'll create our new ERD. Select ERD from the home page, followed by Add New, and we'll call this Data. On our canvas we have a toolbar that is specific to the ERDs. You'll see similar toolbars throughout the different areas of FixFlow, and these are specific to each area. We call these the context toolbars. You can click Table to list existing tables and drag them onto the canvas. To add a new table, drag the table icon onto the canvas. We'll call this Status. You can see that the UID has been added for us, and this is a primary key with a data type of integer. This setup allows FixFlow to generate the unique ID automatically for us when a record is created. It is possible to amend this setup if you have your own primary key format, but this is covered in a separate tutorial. Name is also added. This is set to be the display name. This means when there is a relationship to this table, we will display this attribute in place of the primary key. This makes it easier to understand the data, as we'll see a user-friendly name, such as FixFlow Limited, instead of the ID number 87439. If we click on the attribute, its properties open. From here, we're able to add validation. We'll set the attribute to be mandatory. To find out more about table validation, see our table validation video. Another method for creating a table is to drag an Excel document or CSV directly onto the canvas. Here, we will use the company's file we downloaded earlier. It's possible to view the imported data using the View option here. Now, we'll set the primary key and display name for our new table. Our company's table is ready. We'll now repeat this process using the employees and ISO country code files. It's possible to import data from other sources such as database and APIs, but this is beyond the scope of this course. To learn more about this topic, search Importing Data in the Help. Help can be accessed at any time using the Help icon in the top right hand corner. Now let's import our remaining tables. We've defined the tables that hold our data. Now we need to define the relationships between them. Relationships are used to define how the data in one table relates to another. And these relationships allow us to combine attributes from different tables into a single view without needing to store them in a new table. We'll see this in action in the Screen's Fundamentals chapter later on. To create relationships between 2 tables, we drag the primary key from one table to the required attribute on another table. Here we'll drag company ID on the companies table to company ID on employees. And we'll repeat this for companies table to the country code table. Relationships are added by default as a straight line. However, you can add corner points to adjust the layout of the lines. This is helpful for more complex diagrams. To do this, simply click and drag the line. Before we finish, there's a concepts page which covers all of the key terms and concepts we've been through in this chapter. This is accessible by clicking the concepts link in the context help. In the next video, we'll look at creating screens using the Create Screen option on a table. Open the Screens homepage to access the next video. That can be done by clicking the Screens link in the top here. Here you'll find a link to the next chapter, where we'll look at building screens to display and interact with our data. That brings us to the end of this chapter on ERDs and defining data. I'll see you in the next one.